Shodasha Samskara. 16 Samskaras. Do you know what they are? Shodasha Samskaras. You want to make a, you can make a list of it. Because you need to correspond to this list again and again. Shodasha Samskara. There are actually 4 parts. These Shodasha Samskaras are segregated into 4 parts. 3 are prenatal. Before your birth, 3 samskaras. Next few after the birth. Next few after rebirth. The last one is to procreate. The last one is to shed this body. So these are the segregations. What are the prenatal samskaras? It starts with Garbhadhana, insemination, Pumsuvana, Seemanta. I will explain each one by one. Pumsuvana, Seemanta. Seemanta, exactly it is Seemanta Unnayana, Seemantonnayana. Seemanta Unnayana. These are the prenatal 3. The 4th one is the Jata Karma, immediately after the birth. Then Namakarana, Annaprashana. Namakarana is the naming. Annaprashana, feeding. Chaula. Chaula is to remove the hair that has come with this body. Chaula. Next, Upanayana. Upanayana. The next of actually the number 16 is not absolute. It differs from Vedashakha to Vedashakha. In the Yajurveda context, it is 16 only. Then we have Prajapatya, Saumya, Agneya, Vaishvadeva Vratas. Agneya, Prajapatya number 1, Agneya, Saumya, Vaishvadeva Vratas. Next is the Godana Samskara. Godana Samskara. Next comes Samavartana, followed by Vivaha. After Vivaha, samskaras to the body along with the jiva are complete. The next one would be the Antyeshti or the Antima Samskara. Antima Samskara, last rites. It might seem irrational if I say that these are not relevant to everyone. Please understand properly. It is not relevant to everyone, these Shodasha Samskaras. Not to talk about the community, even to differentiate between the genders, it seems that they are heavily skewed in favor of the masculine gender rather than being universal. Excuse me if I sound impolite at times, but let me make you understand the concept and the philosophy behind the samskara. Why is the samskara required? There are some physiological conditions which are particular and peculiar to a gender and to a state of mind and body. They are not universal. Even if you harp around, trumpet around the town, saying that everyone is equal, that, even the greatest protagonist cannot conceive and deliver a baby if he is a girl. So that is the peculiar and particular state given by the God to that particular gender, and we have to respect that. There is nothing to get upset about it. Okay. Similarly, the seed, it is emanating out of the male. So it is for no reason when you say that your gotra will change after the marriage, or the new baby will inherit the name of the father. So it's not for no reason. It's for a particular reason. It's a scientific. It is not just traditional or by blind belief. Though there are genes of both the parents, the bija, the seed, always is carried. That is the reason the gotra goes from this to this. With this physiological conditions in mind, let us decipher and examine each samskara. What does a samskara constitute? Samskara is something which is being instilled in the body as well as the mind. Here again we have to go to the philosophical angle, because when a fetus is formed, what is it constituted of? The prenatal state is discussed vividly in many scriptures in our tradition. It's not just a passing reference. There are detailed chapters about this particular aspect itself. Because before the birth there are many states, prenatal states. When is a mind gets activating, and because when the most popular example we all hear is the Prahlada's story. When sage Narada was narrating the greatness of Vishnu, Prahlada was entirely captivated and he was enchanted by the Vishnu Kirtana, and just after birth the power of wickedness from his father could not change him. So that is the greatness of prenatal states. That is one very common example what we all have. These days, the first samskara, prathama samskara, or the state of the mantras before insemination, they are actually neglected or just given a goodbye. Because conjugal bliss is the end, progeny is the byproduct. That is the common understanding. Having the marital bliss means that is the indriya sukha, that is the most important factor, and the santana or the progeny is a byproduct. So that is the reason why you have so many contraceptives after 72 hours, these pills, the morning pill, after morning pills, you are having all these things. Our tradition always said that there is much more than this. Unfortunately, times have changed and we are failing to grasp the purport of the samskara itself. See, the mating season in an animal is also seasonal. It is not universal. But unfortunately, the trend about the human species is totally changing. It is 24/7, 365 days non-stop activity these days. That was not supposed to be. Because even going by the animal instinct, we are transcending even the basics. It might not be natural, all these things that are happening. Over a period of time, there are many perversions and diversions that are happening actually. There are suggested times for mating, and it was also not that you can have your choice any point of time, because the sapinda, panchapinda or the saptapindas, because the purity of the lineage should be protected by the way of by the way of separation of the clans. That was the scheme of things. That was Sapindya Nirnaya is one of the very important factors in our entire tradition. So there were stipulated times and stipulated familial traditions which are a prerequisite for one male and two male to mate. So once that is sanctified, the Garbhadhana Namaskara would come into picture. Vishnu Yoning Kalpayatu, Tvashta Rupani Vimshatu, Asinchatu Prajapati, Dhata Brahmanta Dhatute. In spite of all these technologies, you know how IVF technology clinics are flourishing. They are doing roaring business. Why? You blame it on the condition of the food which is consumed by you. We have several factors to attribute because we want alibis. We really do not want to go into the reason why it is happening. The mantra itself says, at the first time of mating, both should have a common understanding and common desire. God has given us these bodies and this intellectual genes in us, which are endowed with great traditions. And let another set of procreation come out of these bodies and sustain its tradition. And let it be beneficial to the mankind. That should be the first sankalpa. That's a common sankalpa between us. Do you think of anyone who is doing such a sankalpa these days? Does any parent or grandparent or parents-in-law, does anyone speak of these things? We just stop at the physical context itself. What beyond that? So the first sankalpa, the many mantras that are chanted actually by wish or by ignorance, deliberately or ignorantly, people are saying all these things. Gatana gatiko lokha, lokah paramarthikah. In a way we are blindly following. But unfortunately, fortunately itself, many people counter me saying that no, it's very difficult in the West for the parents to counsel young children. They are questioning in nature. It's very hard up to satiate their appetite, etc. We come across these questions. But the Shastra tradition itself, it exhorts you to do this thing. Just blindly don't follow anything. You do what was said. Don't disobey your parents, but find out the reason behind it. You should know the reason. That's the traditional imperative. Yukti yuktam vacho grahyam nagrahya gurugaurava. Sarva shastrasya sarantat yajnavalkyara bhashtam. Sage Yajnavalkya Rishi says that yukti yuktam vacho grahyam. Take a word, take a sentence which has a logic and reason behind it. Nagrahya gurugaurava. Just don't blindly obey that since your parent has ordered you to do this, or the guru has commanded that you should do this. Just don't blindly follow. That does not mean that you should disobey them. Obey them, but find out the reason. If they don't know, ask them to find out the reason. If they can't do it, you yourself start your quest. Don't disobey, because we are inheriting a tradition which has come, which we are inheriting. It's not of 2 years or 3 years or 3 centuries or 2 millennia. We have Inyamuru Anadi Sampradaya. So there is much more reason. If you don't know the person who can deliver that, find out the person. Luckily, there are many persons who are still available. When you don't know anything, you just go and seek that refuge in such an knowledgeable person in any field. If you don't have that faculty here, you go to such university which will give us all the information. So you have to go that. Yukti yuktam vacho grahyam. That's nagrahyam gurugaurava. Just out of irreverence, don't follow blindly. but find out the reason behind every action. So the Garbhadhana Samskara literally means that, okay, these two bodies are not meant by just this thing. We are only representative forces. Vishnu joining Kalpalati, Vishnu, Dhata, Prajapati, Tvashta. These are the four celestial factors that are impacting our body to procreate a wonderful set of children of whom we should be really proud of. That is the purport of the mantras. Then after the Garbhadhana Samskara, next comes the Pumsuvana. Pumsuvana literally means Umamsan Janayajam Iti. Okay, let me procreate a male. For this I am doing this. Another, again we come across the rationalist thought or a negative thought of a senseless comment. Okay, if all of you want to generate only males, then who will conceive your children? So this is a male chauvinism. That is the common misunderstanding. Here, what means? Let us understand the chromosome factor. You all know that there are 22 plus 1, 23, XY. 22 might be identical, only that 23rd one which actually causes the difference. Okay, that could be either male or female. Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right?
XY.
Yes, XY. That could be either male or female.
XX is female, XY.
Okay, all these factors contribute to the conception. So, it is not that without the female contribution, the conception would happen. So, Pumsuvana literally here means the contribution of both these factors for the conception of a male. Why that is required means for the continuation of the lineage. So, even if it is because Pumsuvana is connected in the fourth month. Physiologically, if you just examine, the conception has already happened. It is not going to change.
It's done later.
Yes. Fortification is the word which is called, right?
Or it's the manifestation.
Fortification. See, if you had already this thing, you have some nutrients in your body, but at the third year or third month or fourth month, you are fortifying the nutrients in your body. So this is something similar to this. That is the Pumsuvana Samskara. So the next one is the Semanta Varnagana Samskara. Semanta Varnagana is the decorating a pregnant lady. Decorating a pregnant lady. Semanta Varnagana is the Papidi Tistan kada. Papidi Tistan Semanta Varnagana. This is for the well-being of the fetus and easy delivery, because the mantras indicate that they are playing the God for the comfortable delivery.
Symbolic.
Symbolic, just symbolic. Just symbolic. There are many symbolisms even involved in this thing. I am not going to detail of the each prakriya. They are just touching the outlines itself and just finding out the rationale. The fourth one is the Jata Karma. Immediately after the birth, we are conducting several rituals. Most of them are to protect the infant. Jata Karma these days it is conducted on the 11th day. But the Sutrakaras and the mantras say differently. They say that immediately after the birth itself, on the first day or second day itself, you should start. Once you cut off the umbilical cord, after that you just wash the baby and then give there itself you should start. And the mantras insist that the sterilization of the entire premises. Arishtam Sutikagaham. Sutikagaham is the delivery ward. Arishta. So you should be totally sterile and no evil meaning forces should enter this. Because in olden days, I don't know how Even now we are coming across some differences where the infants are being harmed or stolen, etc. And initial 10 days are deemed as very critical in the life of the new baby. So at the time it requires the protection of the Almighty as well as our protection or care. Next, after this thing, the feeding will start. So during the feeding, the Annaprashana, because Ahara Shuddhau, Sattva Shuddhi. Sattva is the nature. The food you consume will lead to your nature. That is the common understanding and basic tenet of operation. When the food is not consumed in a Puritan way, then it would lead to a devilish mentality and nature which could be aggressive and harmful to the society. So always the highest part in one's daily cycle is the food consumption itself. Because every ritual or every tradition of you revolve around this food consumption only. Because unless the food consumed is at the highest level, your mind can't be sattvika, good manner and good nature. That is the reason. So once the solid food intake starts, the Annaprashana, that is symbolic of it. Next is the Chaula. Till then the baby will be